So for me, I was competing during the East German era, which was allowed to happen for 20 years. And these poor young East Germans were filled full of testosterone so that they could win medals for their country. And there was no thought to what that would do to them. But there was also no thought to the women that was losing out. And this was allowed to go on for 20 years. And, although I managed to win a silver medal, I had friends that were fourth behind 3 East Germans whose whole lives would have been different if they'd won the medals they should have done. And I have a daughter who does track and field, and now I have a granddaughter as well. And I just thought, I cannot stand by and watch another generation of young girls have things stolen away from them that they deserve to have. In the world of sport, women get 5% of the sponsorship dollar. 95% of the money in sport goes to men. And then we were told, 10 years ago, we were no longer allowed to have a level playing field and fair sport. And I thought, I'm lucky enough to have paid most of my bills, not all of my mortgage, like most of us. But I just cannot stand by and watch this happen again. And yeah, it was a big hit. Life is still really difficult. Cancel culture is extremely real. But I felt that women deserve to have their fair sport. And what I wanted to do was to bring the debate out. And we couldn't. In the early days, we literally could not even get the debate. We couldn't get the science and the facts. We weren't even allowed to tell the truth. It's still difficult today. But it's a lot better than it was, and we are gradually, winning the battle in sport. But then we have, Lisa and Andy last week turn around and say, oh, well, some sports. Well, any sport that could have been co-ed was already co-ed. So any sport that was fair to have men and women in together already had it, and that was predominantly equestrian. So there is no level playing field if you allow any biological male into a women's sport whatsoever. And what we've found... And what we found very dishearteningly as well, it's been allowed to happen for a long time, but in sports like cycling and darts, billiard, pool, where there's money to be had, that's where we've seen the most. So those women, a tiny percentage of the money that's involved in those sports weren't even allowed to have that. And it's just not fair, so inclusion must be there. And I heard this gentleman down here, and please, you're very welcome to stand up, all right? I have no problem with inclusion. However, no trans athlete has ever been excluded from sport. They've just been asked to compete where it's fair. That is it. But we cannot remove the biological advantages. There's not a single piece of peer-reviewed science in the world that says that we can remove the biological advantage. So why do you think women aren't entitled to fair sport? Could you just tell me, though, why do you think women aren't entitled to fair sport? Okay. Then we can't have fair sport if we have males, people that are biologically male in their sport. So you're taking away fair sport for women. And I will never, ever let that happen.
So could I ask, because one of the things that I think has been so dispiriting about this debate is that when women tried to gather, when women tried to talk, there was obviously a group of people who decided that should not be allowed and that should be disrupted. And one of the key reasons why I'm a Conservative is because we believe in free speech. So we can disagree, but we also make space for people who want to share opinions. And I just want to